Hi everybody, welcome back to the NW Sportscast. I got a quick reaction for you guys today. I cannot believe these trades always happen when I'm out and about. Like, why can't they be convenient and happen when I am at my comfort of my own house? Come on, guys. Mariners, what are you doing? But I have to say, I like this trade a lot. It's my birthday, and this is a nice little birthday present for me. The Mariners going out and making two trades, actually. So let's break it down. First one, we trading Robbie Ray to the Giants in exchange for some cash, as well as Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani. So this trade, it's a bit of a salary dump move combined with adding some depth to your outfield, and you're not really taking away from this year's team. You know, I think obviously at full health, Robbie Ray is a better pitcher than Anthony DeSclafani, but this year he's not going to be at full health. You know, we don't know if he's going to be able to come back. They're saying he wants to be back by the All-Star game. Maybe he'll be able to, but you know, who knows? That might mean that he's rehabbing by the All-Star game, but maybe who knows when he'll actually be ready to pitch in the MLB, because you know, rehab, it depends on the player, and it really does it's very much up in the air. Like, people are like, oh, he's definitely going to be back for the All-Star break. That's not true. You know, if that's what they are hoping for, that's what they're aiming for, but that is if everything goes perfectly and if the rehab, you know, goes really well in the minor leagues. And who knows, you know, he could get re-injured, he could get re-aggravated, he could struggle in rehab. There's lots of ways that Robbie Ray doesn't end up seeing the field until next year even. Or he comes back and isn't fully healthy and struggles. So, yeah, you know, the gap between Ray and DeSclafani, I don't think it's that much of a gap. I think they both have had health issues recently, and at full health, Ray's better. But right now, you know, Ray is not that much more valuable as a player than Anthony DeSclafani is. And DeSclafani, if you need him to, he can go out and start day one. So if you do end up trading Bryan Woo or Bryce Miller, Anthony DeSclafani can now slot into your rotation as your number 5 starter on day one. You don't have to wait for him to get healthy, because he missed a good portion of last season as well, but he is healthy now. So unlike Robbie Ray, DeSclafani, he gives you the option to trade one of your other pitchers if that's the route you want to go in, and now you don't necessarily have to call up Emerson Hancock or have to do kind of a Chris Flexen kind of thing, or start Matt Brash back as a start. You know what I mean? Now you kind of have that 5th starting pitcher, so that's obviously good. And then you get Mitch Haniger as kind of the throw-in. You know, Mitch Haniger is there to balance out the salary of the whole thing. And then some cash as well. So ultimately, you know, we downgrade the rotation a little bit, but it's kind of also an upgrade, because you traded a better pitcher who's injured for a worse pitcher who's healthy, and then you also get a free outfielder as well, and you save a little bit of money. You save more money in the future, because Haniger you have for next season. DeSclafani is a free agent after this season, whereas they're going to have to pay Robbie Ray for the next 3 years. So that means we do get to save a little bit of money, not only this year, but down the road we save quite a bit of money. So that's good. You know, I think Haniger is a very solid depth move. He can kind of platoon DH right field. He can split some time with Dom Canzone. He can DH on days when Mitch Garver doesn't want to have to DH. You know, that means you A, don't have to play Mitch Garver every single day, and B, don't have to play Dom Canzone every day. So if it's a little bit of a three players rotating through right field and DH, I'm okay with that. You know, he definitely raises the floor. He's better than Cade Marlowe. He's better than Zach DeLoach right now. He's better than Taylor Trammell. So yeah, that's a good move. And then the second move, and I really like this one a lot. You know, Jose Caballero going to the Tampa Bay Rays for Luke Raley. And Luke Raley is a really nice player. He's an outfielder, can also play some first base. He played 120 games last season for the Rays and was very good at 836 OPS, 19 homers. He's got some pop. He's really a nice toolsy player. And what I really like about Luke Raley is that he comes from the Dodgers organization and as well as the Rays organization. And those are two teams that have done a really good job of identifying talent, right? The Rays and Dodgers always seem to be able to find the best, most talented players, and then they unlock their full potential. So the Mariners say, well, the Dodgers and Rays, two of the smartest teams in the league, they both saw something in this player, which means he must be pretty good. And last year, the Rays unlocked his full potential to a 19 home run season, and he only played 120 games. So in a full season, you'd think he could probably have 25 home run possibilities, which would be really nice, you know? Not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible if the Mariners can unlock what the Rays did in him last season. He's still pretty young. I believe he has 2 or 3 years of control. I'm not exactly sure what his contract looks like, but he's a good player. He certainly is also an upgrade to the outfield. And then you get rid of Jose Caballero. Caballero is a guy who had a nice season last year, but I just don't think he's getting any better. I think Caballero's ceiling is kind of fringe starter, second base, utility infield type of guy. He is really fast. I'll give him that. He's a very fast guy, has a decent contact, but A, he's streaky, and B, he's mistake prone. I know he stole a lot of bases. He also cost us a couple runs on the base paths last year with some not very smart base running decisions late in games. Jose Caballero is valuable for what he does, which is play defense, be a fast guy, and hit for contact, but Luke Raley has a chance to actually be more of an impact bat in our lineup. It works for both sides. The Rays needed infielders because they obviously, their best infielder is now probably never going to play baseball again. So the Rays definitely need infield help, and the Mariners need outfield help. And so this trade works for both teams. I think overall, Raley is pretty clearly a better player as far as just tools and potential goes. Caballero, valuable in what he does, but again, we already also have Haggerty, who does kind of the same thing as Caballero. Honestly, Haggerty and Caballero are very, very similar players, just as far as what they bring to the table, what they offer to a team. So you're like, if we're going to roster one of them, it's probably not, in our best interest to roster both of them. And, Haggerty's been with us longer. Haggerty has proven it himself multiple times. Caballero, a little bit streaky. He's only proven himself once, really. So now you get some value back out of Caballero. So I like this move a lot. I think this is actually the better of the two moves that we made today. So what this does is it pretty much means that at this point, Haggerty, Dylan Moore are guaranteed spots in this team right now. But the guy who isn't guaranteed a spot is Taylor Trammell, and this probably spells the end of his Mariners career. Obviously, he has been up and down for a while. He's never been that good in the majors. It's it's sad. I like Taylor Trammell a lot. He's a really nice guy. I met him, played catch with him actually. He's a really cool player, really nice. He's a really good dude. He is the opposite of Jared Kelenic as far as Jared was just a menace, angry all the time, always in a bad attitude. Taylor Trammell is the exact opposite. He was just a clubhouse presence, a joy to be around. All the players talked about him like that, but unfortunately, he couldn't hit at a major league level. And now you're thinking, okay, we have 4 outfielders, right? We got Julio, Dom Canzone is still on the team, and then plus, Raley now, and Mitch Haniger, so that's 4 outfielders. And Taylor Trammell, he has to be on the team or else he's getting waived because he doesn't have minor league options. So you can't keep Trammell in AAA as an injury replacement because unless you waive him and then no other team claims him, which I guess is possible. We might put him on waivers and just no team wants him. Maybe that's the case, but my guess is we're gonna have to waive him, and somebody probably is gonna take a waiver on him. A team like the A's, or a team like the Tigers, the Pirates, the Brewers, a team that doesn't have a whole lot of major league depth right now. There's definitely teams out there that I think might want to give one more chance to Taylor Trammell because he does have the tools. He just hasn't proven himself yet in 3 seasons. But yeah, we're not going to be able to keep him on the team with 4 other outfielders, I don't think, especially because his defense, if we're going to keep a 5th outfielder, it's got to be someone who's better at defense because, that's the problem with our outfield right now. Raley's not that good of a defender. We know Mitch Haniger, he's old, so a little bit slower now, not that great of a defender either, kind of brittle. Dom Canzone is a decent defender, not great, and then Julio. So if you are keeping a 5th outfielder, it's got to be someone who can play really good defense. In which case it would be Cade Marlowe, right? You're not keeping Trammell for his defense, and at this point, you're not keeping him for his bat either. So yeah, he's gonna be gone, unfortunately for him. And Cade Marlowe is probably gonna be that next guy up if there's an injury. Which is again, yeah, Cade is a solid guy to have as your next guy up. He's a guy who I'm A-okay. He can play every day in Tacoma, and then if somebody gets hurt, he can come up, play good defense, and be a nice solid addition from AAA. I don't think he's an everyday player in the major leagues, but now he doesn't have to be. And then Zach DeLoach still in AAA as well. So Our outfield is a lot stronger than it was because, yes, I mean, Haniger and Luke Raley are both a lot better than Taylor Trammell. And, yeah, good move. I think future connotations-wise, like, this probably does open up the door to potentially trading Bryce Miller and or Brian Wu because now we have Des Sclafani. Hopefully it'll be Brian Wu. I don't really want to get rid of Bryce Miller. I like Bryce Miller a lot, but I know there's a lot of people who like Wu more than Miller. Who knows? We'll see. I think we should keep Bryce. But that being said, if we do trade Brian Wu, the chances are very high that it's going to be for an infielder because the infield now is a little bit fitter. You get rid of Caballero, so now you've got Demo, Haggerty, Urias, Rojas. So, preferably, you're probably platooning Dylan Moore with Josh Rojas. I believe, because Rojas is a lefty, Dylan Moore hits right. So that's probably your platoon, and then you got Haggerty kind of as your utility / he can play some outfield as well. And Urias, he's kind of penciled in there right now as your everyday third baseman, and I know a lot of fans, myself included, think that that's still a spot we could potentially upgrade. I still think, Eugenio Suarez would have been a lot better at third base than Luis Urias. Maybe I'm totally wrong on Urias, but his numbers last year just don't look very good, and his Baseball Savant page also does not look very good. The underlying numbers were just as bad as the actual stats. So I know he got hurt, but even after the injury, he wasn't great. I don't know. I'm not sold on Luis Urias. So I think if we do go in the route of making another trade, I think what we should do is trade Brian Wu for a third baseman. I've heard the Twins, maybe Jorge Polanco. I don't think Brian Wu is going to get you Isaiah Paredes unless you want to potentially trade a couple of prospects as well, which you guys know how I feel about prospects. I like the prospects that we have. I think we should keep them. And I don't think Paredes is worth trading from the farm system. I think if you can get a straight-up one-for-one Brian Wu for Jorge Polanco, you should do it because Polanco makes your infield a lot stronger. So, yeah, that would probably be my move of choice. And then at that point, you're kind of set. Like, you have the depth now. You've raised the floor of this team. You've improved your pitching. It might be nice to add another bullpen arm, but we kind of have a weird, uncanny ability to just develop relievers out of nowhere. So I feel pretty good right now. I think the Mariners as a team today are better than they were as a team 4 hours ago. I don't think there's much of a debate. I really don't. Like, there are some moves where it's like you can kind of debate, like, does this make the team worse or better? Some moves where it's like it's good for the future, but it's bad for the present. Like, right now, this is like the Kelenic trade was like, it's good for the future, but it's bad for the present. The Suarez trade was, it's just bad in general. But this trade is like, yeah, like, this is good. And I can clearly look at this and say, before today, we were not as good as we are right now. And that is an improvement. That is progress. And, we also got Mitch Garver. I'm happy with what the Mariners are doing right now. They're turning this offseason around after we were kind of the laughing stock for a while. But this is good. Drew and I are going to have more content coming at you guys, breaking down this even more than we just did. We'll have a little bit of a podcast about it, talking a little bit more about the stats, the implications, what we could see in the future. So tune in for that. Thank you all for watching. This is the NW Sportscast. Like, subscribe, follow the channel for more content.